What's good, people? Today the topic of interest is putting yourself first. So today's going to be a boundary type of video. And boundaries are one of those things that you're never really taught to do. It's something that you're not consciously taught unless you either seek it out through personal development or unless you speak to like a counselor. And a lot of the conflicts that you experience in your life will come down to boundary issues. So your romantic ones, your friendships, your relationships at work, a lot of the time will come down to boundaries. Okay. And I want to, in this video, I'm going to be stressing the importance of, first of all, putting yourself first. But I want to start off with defining what a boundary is, because a lot of us have different ideas on this. And once I've given us this definition, we can really get into it. And I believe you'll get a lot of value from this video. It'll really help you out. So what exactly is a boundary? So a boundary is basically something that differentiates you and what you are responsible for from somebody else and what they are responsible for. So I'll give you guys an example. So let's say, right, a good example of a boundary is your fence. So when you come home, and you open the fence after a long day of work, that fence of yours differentiates your house and the things that you are responsible from all the other houses in the street. You're separated by fences. And within the confines of that fence are the things that you take care of. So you take care of your garden, you take care of the insides and the belongings in the house. So you wash your own dishes, you hoover your own house, you mow your own lawn. You don't suddenly go into somebody else's house and wash their dishes for them. You don't do that because that's not what you are responsible for. That's not within the confines of your boundaries. That's not in the confines of your fence. So using the same analogy of the fence, within life as well, you've got your own fence filled with things that you are responsible for, that you must take care of. So for example, what are these things? You must take care of your time. You must take care of your finances. You must take care of your emotional well-being, the way that you feel. You're responsible for that. The decisions that you make in life, you're responsible for that. And other people must do the same for themselves. So they must take care of their own time, their own finances, the decisions that they make, their emotional well-being. They're responsible for that too. That's in their fence. And we're all separated by this fence. Now, sometimes your fence can be open to allow other people in to help them out. Or sometimes other people can open up their fences to let you in to help them out with a particular thing, so they can allow you in to help them out with their emotional well-being, whatever. But conflicts will begin to arise when somebody begins to overstay their welcome or really tamper with the things that you are responsible for, or burden you with the things that they are responsible for. So they take the help too far. So for example, somebody starts tampering with your time. So you're like, for example, you can open up your fence to allow people to come in and give them portions of your time. But when they overstay their welcome and they're taking in loads of time, you begin to get resentful. You begin to feel a type of way. Or for example, let's say somebody opens their fence up to you and you come in and you're like, okay, cool. And they're like, you know what, help me out with my emotional well-being. So you're there as a support. But then there comes a point where you're finding it difficult, or they're not really letting you leave. So they're keeping you there and using you as an emotional crutch to deal with their emotions rather than dealing with them themselves or taking the action to help themselves. That's when conflicts arise. So when somebody starts tampering with the things that you are responsible for, or burdening you with the things that they should be responsible for. So in this video, we're going to be targeting the one particular aspect or one particular thing that's within your fence, which is your emotional well-being. And in order to take care of your emotional well-being, you have to learn to use what's a magical word, which is no. No is a word that's going to save you. And sometimes when you think like you're saying no to other people, you can think that you're being mean. You can think like, oh man, I'm trying to help other people out. It's good to help other people out. But saying no is actually beneficial. Putting yourself first is beneficial for not only for you, but for everybody else around you. Because when you do that, you begin to fill up your cup. And when your cup is full and it's overflowing, you're in a place where you've got abundance and you can give to other people and help other people out. But you can't help other people out when your life's in chaos, when you're suffering, when your house is on fire. You can't go put other people's houses out. Your house is on fire. You need to put that out first. And I'll never forget this. This is when I really learned the importance of saying no. I remember I used to work an old job. And at this old job that we worked at, but bear in mind, guys, your boy's been through the trenches. This particular job, we never had any staff. We were always low on staff. So I remember like I'd work like 6 days in a row. And it was supposed to be my day off. Your boy, I was thinking, man, I need some shut eye. I'm tired. So I remember the day before actually the night of before my day off, somebody called my manager in the next day saying like, oh, I'm feeling sick. I'm not going to be able to make it into work today. And normally at that store that I was working at, we needed at least 4 people to open up the store in the mornings. So they called me that night and they said, Josh, will you come in the next morning to come and help out? So I was like, you know what? I really like my manager. I really like these people. Sure, I'll help out. I'm a little tired, but yeah, sure, I'll come through. So I pulled through this morning of the shift. Then 2 people called in sick that morning. So it's just me and my manager opening up this whole store. I was like, what? So I was supposed to be the 4th. Now it's just me and my manager. This is my day off. And I thought, surely, because there's only two of us, they'll just close the store and, we'll wait for other people to come in. Nah, the store opened and business was usual. Your boy was in the stock room. I was in the till. I was manning menswear, women's wear. I was doing it all, man. I was doing it all. Just me and my manager. And I learned one important lesson there. And it's this, is that life goes on. The show will always go on with or without you. So what does that mean? What I'm saying is that sometimes in life you can begin to think that you're indispensable, that you're super important to people. And this is not like in a mean way. For example, let's say you're helping somebody with their emotional health or their emotional well-being, they're struggling mentally, and you feel like, you really need to be there for them in order for them to continue to cope. But the reality is that if you died, or you fell sick, they'll be just fine without you. They'll find somebody else to help them out. Okay, just the same way with my workplace. I thought I really needed to be there to help them out. If I wasn't there, things would fall apart. But we saw that two other people called in sick, and the show still went on. If I called in sick or if I said no, they would have either found somebody else or they would have just opened up with one person. The show would go on just fine without you. You're not indispensable. People will be fine without you. And when you realize that, you know what? What am I killing myself for? I need to take care of myself first. I am my greatest resource. Right? Because nobody cared that I was tired. Nobody cared I worked 7 days straight that week. Nobody cared I was tired. They were more concerned about meeting their own needs. They were more concerned about, making sure that we had enough staff for the store to keep running. And that's the most important thing. Nobody's going to do this for you. You must take care of your emotional well-being. You must learn to say no. And when you begin to say no to people and you begin to put yourself first, okay, what will happen is that you'll often be met with resistance. And resistance isn't always a bad thing, because with resistance, what will come is you'll begin to realize who's really, really there for you, who really, really loves you, and who are just the users, who are just taking from you. Because when you begin to enforce boundaries, you begin to say no, and you begin to close your fences and take care of what you are responsible for, you find out that the boundaries are nothing more than a litmus test to the quality of the relationships that you have. So a litmus test is basically something that identifies the quality of something. So in science and chemistry, when you do a litmus test, it differentiates whether or not something is acidic or alkaline. So you find out, are these people really for you, or are they just takers, right? And the takers will be the people who get really, really upset with you when they say no, and they'll cut off the relationship. Now, sometimes you can have people who are really good people who really, really do love you. You've just trained them in a way to expect you to always bend over backwards to be there for them. So, of course, with these people, you'll be met with resistance, but you must stay firm. So the different types of resistances that people will give. So I'm going to have to do another video for that, because this is going to be a long video. But the one thing to take away from this video is to put yourself first. Put yourself first. It's the most important thing for you. When you do that, you'll be more loving. When you have more to give to others, your life will improve. So that's the video of the day. You guys take care, and I'll be back again tomorrow for the next one. Peace.